Hello there. Coming to you from my comfy, cozy bed, laying on my heating pad. Just wanted to normalize this sort of thing because I have a lot of days where I don't feel well and don't really feel like I can get up, sit up at my vanity and film. But there's a video that I had my mind on that I wanted to do, and I wanted to do it while I actually had the thoughts in my head. So this is going to be like a very casual filming today. I hope you don't mind I'm holding the camera like this. It's easier for me where I'm at right now. So I wanted to tackle 3 different terms that we hear a lot about these days and how they're connected. I guess actually 4 terms. So we're going to see how this goes. Don't have any notes on me. Those of you who know me well know I do have cognitive dysfunction. That's why I use notes when I'm doing these discussion videos. People who already have decided that they don't like me are going to pick on me for using the notes, and they're the same people that are going to pick on me for not using notes because they're ableist. So I just figure I'm just going to do it because people are going to be jerks either way. So the first term we're going to talk about is political correctness. Now, this is a term that is often used in a way that's to say, well, political correctness has gone way out of control these days. Political correctness, in my worldview, as of now, is not a thing that actually exists. I used to think that it did. Political correctness, or PC, as the kids used to call it. I don't know if they still do. That's what we used to say when I was a kid. You're either PC or you're not PC. That's not very PC, bro. PC principal on South Park, right? That's not PC, bro. Political correctness, to me, you could replace that with empathy and basic levels of respect, and you would get your point across. Because most of the time when we're talking about political correctness, we're not actually talking about politics. To give you an example of this, last week I was engaging with somebody in the Facebook comments. Don't go into the Facebook comments. They'll just make you upset and angry. We always go into the Facebook comments though, don't we? So I was engaging with somebody who was actually under a Disney post, of all things, celebrating John Boyega because it's Black History Month. And for those of you who don't know, actually Disney treated John Boyega quite badly because he was in the Star Wars movies, and now I'm not a Star Wars fan, so I actually haven't watched the Star Wars movies, the recent ones. I watched the old ones when I was a kid. But his part kind of got smaller and smaller, and also he wasn't featured on a lot of the promotional videos and posters. So a lot of people were kind of commenting to the fact that really you're gonna celebrate Black History Month, you're gonna celebrate John Boyega, and you basically have played him dirty. And there was one comment that said as much, but they used, not intentionally, a derogatory term. It's a word, 3-letter word, or it could be a 6-letter word, depending on how you use it. Rhymes with ripped. It has a G. It's derived from a derogatory term for the Roma, the Romani people, to basically say that they are sneaky, underhanded people. So they ripped off John Boyega, and that is what they were saying. And myself and about 6 other people were saying, yeah, you have the right point here, but you used a word that's not so good. And they didn't like that. It's like, well, you got my point. This word is not a bad word where I come from, which is North America, where I come from. But it is a bad word here. There's Romani people all over the world. Of course, I myself didn't know that was a bad word until maybe about 4 years ago, I would say now. Because a lot of times you just don't see it spelled out. And you don't know what the etymology of a word is until somebody comes along, like the way I came along, and said, actually, that's not a good thing to say. It takes somebody to tell you that. And that's all you need to do is hear it and then say, well, okay, I won't use it again. But obviously, that's not what happened here. So they were fighting with people. But it was somebody else who came in and said, well, this is just political correctness gone awry. It's gone too far. What did they mean in that situation, though? Well, we weren't talking about politics. We were talking about Disney. We weren't talking about Republicans, Democrats, the left, the right. We're talking about policies in any particular country. We were talking about a word that is rooted in the dehumanization of other people, ongoing to this day. So how is that political correctness? And this is why I say you could take the term political correctness, you could replace that with empathy and kindness and respect, basic levels of decency. When you do that, well, it doesn't sound so good though, does it? Political correctness? Empathy has gone too far. Empathy has gone too far in 2021. Respect has gone too far in 2021. Kindness has gone too far in 2021. Suddenly that doesn't sound so good for the person arguing that, does it? No. And it's usually the people, I'm not going to say every single time, it's usually the people who are annoyed by the fact that they have to make a change to their vocabulary or some sort of change to become more sensitive, to become more empathetic. They're the ones that bring up political correctness. And basically what that means is that they don't like that. They would like to continue using words and doing things that can keep hurting other people, marginalized people. Political correctness has gone too far. I would like to continue doing things that hurt people. Don't tell me not to do that. And these are the people who call you a snowflake. Really? Do you know what a snowflake is? Because you're the one who's annoyed right now. These are the people who call you triggered. Do you know what a trigger is? A trigger is actually a PTSD symptom. This is a word that actually my friend Liana wanted me to bring up. Because they have PTSD type symptoms. A trigger, or the word triggered, has been taken over by conservatives. So every little thing that they think bothers the left, it's triggering us. No, it's not. The trigger is actually a psychiatric term that's been within the psychiatric community for a very, very long time. And it means that if you have experienced trauma, then you have the possibility to be re-traumatized by something. This is why these days you're inundated with trigger warnings. If something contains extreme levels of violence, if something contains rape, it has the possibility to trigger somebody who has experienced that themselves. So nobody's getting triggered by the fact that a conservative is annoyed that they have to change their language. So yeah, they'll call you a snowflake. They'll call you triggered. And they'll tell you to just get over it. You're being too sensitive. And what does this mean? These are the traits of an abuser. Because an abuser tells you to just get over something. An abuser tells you you're being too sensitive. Because they want to keep carrying on being harmful. And they don't want you to do anything to keep them accountable. So this is how a new term, cancel culture, has come up. Cancel culture doesn't exist. Cancel culture, again, was created to avoid keeping people accountable. Let's go back to Disney for a minute. Disney recently fired an actor from their Star Wars Mandalorian series named Gina Carano. The right, the conservatives, are very annoyed about that. She's one of theirs. She's not being canceled. She's a beautiful, successful, cisgender, heterosexual, able-bodied white woman. She'll be fine. She'll get a job somewhere. She'll be fine. She was anti-Semitic. She was racist. She was transphobic. She was saying that masks don't do anything during a pandemic. And she did this repeatedly after Disney told her not to. She broke her contract several times. Yeah, they fired her. But is she being canceled or is she being held accountable? Look at J.K. Rowling. She's one of the richest women in the world. She created one of the most successful series of books and movies and franchises of all time. She has her own private castle on a private island, I believe. And people saying she's being canceled. She started her own letter campaign about cancel culture and how she was being canceled. The people who complain about cancel culture and being canceled are the ones who are scared that they are being held accountable. And are scared that they are the ones who are going to have to answer to somebody over something. Which she is. She is being held accountable for her transphobia, severe transphobia, which she keeps coming back with again and again and again. She's obsessed with trans people. I don't know why. Maybe a trans person spat in her coffee once. I don't know. So what is cancel culture but somebody with the majority of power complaining that somebody with less power is saying, don't do that? What do all of these things have in common? People complaining that they have to be more empathetic, more respectful, that they have to be accountable for their own actions in this day and age. Go figure. Yeah, those are just my thoughts on these things and how they all tie together. Do you see it too? Let me know. So I'm going to sign off for now because I'm not feeling well. But I wanted to get those thoughts out while I had them kicking around up in the old noggin. So hope you're all staying well and I'll see you soon. Bye everyone.